used to come in every day, and she had her own place. She would come to socialize and talk to the people. And she sat in the office, she said, "Oh, Don, I just got this new litter." And I said, "Well, let me just see a picture." And she shows me this cute house, gorgeous. They were all siblings. And I said, "Any girls?" "Oh, yeah, I have one girl." "Oh," I said, "I don't know." And so what happened after that was a couple days later, the girls go, "Margie Ann's in the parking lot. She wants to see you." I said, "This is not good." I go out, she opens the hatchback, and she had this whole thing set up for this dog with water, blankets. Oh, I said, "She is so cute, but she looks so scared." I called my husband, he said, "I'll do whatever in the paperwork, I can come get her." So anyway, it took a little bit of time for the paperwork, because you have to do the paperwork, maybe a couple weeks. So yes, she went home with us, but she has been my most challenging dog. She would have probably been returned a long time ago. Other people, but I hung in there, worked with her, worked with the vet, just worked and worked on her. I mean, she's come a long way. Not perfect yet, and I don't expect any. We're not perfect, but she has come a long way. But during COVID, I decided I love these animals. Okay, is that all right? Yeah.
Out to me.
All right, how about now?
No.
Can you hear me now? So during COVID, I found someone who was a teacher that you could become a certified pet shop. So I called him and I said, "I'm really interested in this. How can I go about this?" And he said, "You know, it's funny you called me because I haven't done this in so long, but you're inspiring me now to get a class together." So that's what I did during COVID. Never dreaming that when I entered this program, I was going to end up writing papers like I did at Divinity School. And I'm like, boy, what did I get into here? I can't come out. But it was really great because it has opened so many doors in family ministry. guide us to our purpose. Animals teach us unconditional love, patience, and living in the present moment. We can grow and share what we learn with others. When I got Wishbone, I'm the type I want everything done yesterday. I am type A. And when I got Wishbone, I learned that things weren't golden in my life. That I had to have a little bit of patience with this dog. I had to work with a vet. I had to work with a trainer. I had to work with friends that maybe had experiences with this type of animal. But Wishbone has taught me how to be patient, how to forgive, how to love. And with us not having that in our life, we cannot carry that over us to all of God's creation. So I think when we start with an animal, it is so important because they teach us so much. And, like I said, Wishbone has been a challenge, but I am forever grateful for her being in our lives. So we're going to look at animal They lead us to divine mission and purpose. I was not planning to wish them, but she was my catalyst to become an animal chaplain. And I think that sometimes animals can be that catalyst because maybe change is good for us, maybe we're afraid of change, but we know this animal is telling us this isn't the right situation for us, and that we need to make that change. And we know they will be with us, and because God is with to God as love, and God creates in variety. Point to God as designer. Animals fill a crucial part of symbolic spiritual relationship between all of creation. And in Numbers 22, the incident of Balaam and his donkey brings into focus another insight about animals, their spiritual reality. In this incident, Balaam was spared death at the hands of the angel of the Lord because the donkey turned aside when it saw the angel. expect everybody to fit into one mold. That's not gonna happen. Because we are all different, as we learned in the scripture readings, God made variety, and He made us all different. Can you imagine if we had a world all the same? That would not be good. But, so, this is my animal ministry. I love doing it. But I want to take a little bit of time for anybody to ask some questions or to share a story of how your animal has helped you grow spiritually and has helped you with your patience. So I'd like to hear from you. Would anybody like to share?
Chaplain Don. Julie, go first.
So no, you talk about fair, that's way more important than I just.
If you've already done this, I apologize when I got here a little bit late. Could you share with the group what type of ministries you could provide for the people of St. Thomas? It's amazing when I looked at the list, but I just want to make sure everyone's aware of what type of services you can provide as a pet chaplain.